available for those who cannot attend. All right. So let's go ahead and delve into today's training, you guys. So, like I said before, if you were not able to attend the introduction training that we provided to the principals on Tuesday or to the teachers yesterday, this is the exact same slide deck. This training will be kind of building off of what we talked about on Tuesday and on Thursday, but we're going to delve into the actual live platform and kind of go through all the buttons and the features and kind of just play around with all of the stuff that is available in Microsoft Teams. You can access today's presentation at tinyurl.com/MS-Teams-EBR. Please mute yourself to avoid any noise feedback. Check to ensure your sound is working. So if you can't hear me right now, clearly your sound is not working. We have a little link right there for you guys to click and to kind of troubleshoot. It's something on your side regarding your speakers. And this says do not use the chat feature, but we have a small group today, so the chat feature should be available for everyone. We learned yesterday that after 80 people, the chat feature is kind of removed from everyone else after that, but we have a very small group this morning, so the chat feature is there. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll stop every now and then to see if you guys have any questions, or just unmute yourself and ask a question. We have a small group, so the unmuting yourself shouldn't be an issue this morning. All right. My name is Sahara Haney, and I'm an instructional specialist with the Technology Integration Department. My co-presenter is Mrs. Kuiper. She'll be in here in a little while, and she is our director. We created, because we know yesterday was a little confusion with the different links. So we created a 2-page document with all of the hyperlinks and additional trainings that we're providing to the district. So on slide 2, there's a little hyperlink. If you click on that hyperlink, it will take you to this document that's called Microsoft Teams Training, and it has all of the specific trainings, the dates, and the times, along with the links. So you guys have everything in one place without having to jump across different platforms like your email, your calendar, and a document. It's all in one place. So feel free to share this with your school site or with your department. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back into it. So I love to kind of ask this question just to kind of get people's brains moving. So I want you guys to kind of reflect on this question for me. What are the main ways that you currently communicate and collaborate with either your school staff, if you're a school leader, with your department, if you're on the district level, or with your students, if you're currently a classroom teacher? Typically, I know most people use Drive to share items and files. They may use their Outlook email to communicate. And if you're a classroom teacher, you may use Google Classroom to share and assign assignments. The awesome thing about Microsoft Teams is all of these items that we normally use on a day-to-day basis is streamlined into one platform. So it makes it kind of easy for everyone to use. Before we jump into the actual live platform, I want to just kind of review the value of using Microsoft Teams. So please understand that this is not a mandate from our district. It is not a mandate at all. It is just purely a recommendation. We know that some teachers and some principals are using other platforms like Zoom to have video conferences, but it's hard to provide the proper security for those. So the awesome thing about Microsoft Teams is it provides us a place to have those video call conferences, have files, share information, collaborate, and communicate all in one place. So some more values of Microsoft Teams. It allows us to facilitate collaboration and communication. It allows educators to collaborate with each other and share with each other. It allows us to organize all of our files and attachments in one single place. And my favorite thing is it reduces the amount of time spent looking for files, emails, and other messages, because I know I'm guilty of it. Jumping to my Drive, searching for items, jumping to my email, trying to search for items there. The awesome thing with Microsoft Teams is it's all in one place. Okay, so getting started with Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of this presentation, and I'm going to jump into the live version of it. So if you would like to follow along, feel free. I have my chat up on my phone, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions in the chat box. Or like I said, we have a pretty small group this morning, so unmute yourself and ask away. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into Microsoft Teams. So you guys, I'm assuming everyone knows how to get there, but let's talk about that. So when you first log into your email, we typically see this page where it is our kind of our home landing page for Office 365. And if you've never ever noticed before, but there is an app right there for Teams. So if you've never noticed that app before, it is there for us to click on. And then once you click on, once you click on it, if you're not already signed in, it will ask you to sign in using your EBR credentials. Once you are in the app, so I'm going to use the website version of the app. So once you're in the app, it will ask you, of course, like I said, to sign in. But besides that, it will take you to your landing page. Let me move my little thing out the way. There we go. It will take you to the landing page. And I love this page because if you're currently a Google Classroom user or pro, it is fairly similar to how that looks and the whole style of it, basically. So the awesome thing with this is on your landing page for Microsoft Teams, it brings you to all of the teams that you are currently a member in or you have created yourself. And from this page, I can just simply click on my team or join or create a brand new team. So as you can see in each of your little team boxes, there are little 3 dots. If you hover over those dots, if you click those dots right there, it gives you extra options. So I can either hide a team, I can manage my team from here, I can add channels from here, add members from here. Maybe I don't want to be a part of this team anymore. I can leave the team, edit my team, or get a link and delete the team. So you can do a lot from your home landing page for Teams. But once again, the main purpose of this is just to kind of see all of your teams in one shot, one view. Now, let's say I would like to join or create a team. Similar to Google Classroom, in the right-hand corner of your screen, there's a little button that says Join or Create. When you click that, it opens up and you have the option to join or create a classroom. We have a few guests waiting, so let me allow these guests to get in. Okay, there we go. They're all in. All right, so once you click the Join or Create button, you will see a page similar to this. Let me zoom in some on my side so y'all can see my full screen. All right. So you have the option. Get this out of the way. I don't know why there's so much in the way. Okay. So you have the option to either join or create a team from right here. Now you will notice that I have one team right here that I can join without having to know their access code. So when you create a team from the very beginning, they give you 2 options, and I'll show you that in a second. They allow you to either make a team private or public. If a team is public, you will see that public team whenever you click the join or create a team button. So I can now join Wedgewood's team without having to know their access code or having to have the owner to add me themselves. So if you want, maybe your district department and you would like to have a team available for all of the educators in our district, you may want to make it public to make it easy for those people to join it. It is up to you. However, if maybe you're a school site administrator, you may want to make it private depending on what you may have in your actual team. So this is more of a self kind of idea or decision to make. If you are a classroom teacher, those are automatically private. So they will not be made public. You don't have the choice to make it public. So let's go ahead and click on the Create a Team button. You now have 4 options. You have class, PLC, staff, and other. So of course, if you're a classroom teacher, I recommend selecting the class button. However, if you are a school leader or a district leader, I recommend selecting PLC or staff. Now, let's talk about why. One of the downfalls with Microsoft Teams is if you select a specific team type, you cannot switch or revert that team after you've already chosen that team type. So I always tell teachers and school leaders to take a second, don't make any hash things or thoughts or decisions. Take a second and think about what kind of team type you would like to select. So if you're a classroom teacher, of course, I recommend class. However, maybe you did not know there was a stark difference between the different team types, and you choose staff as a teacher. You will not have the ability to assign any assignments or quizzes to your students. So if I choose PLC or staff, that assignment button is there, but it's an empty button. I cannot access it at all. If I have class, I have a few different features that I can do with my members. Same with PLC and staff. If I choose staff or PLC team types, I have different features that I can do with my members. So just kind of reflect before you choose your team type. Once you choose it, go ahead and select it. I'm going to choose staff as an example. And then it will ask you to name and describe your team. I'm going to name this demo staff. You don't have to describe it. If you would like to, feel free. It's optional, it's not required. And the next little button is where your privacy settings are. You have two options, private and public. Remember that public option is where anyone in EBR can find your organization or your team and join it. Private is where only team owners can add members, either via email or their code. So once again, I recommend school site administrators making their teams private. District level creators can, of course, make their stuff public. If you're a classroom teacher and you decide to choose class, it's already private, so you don't have to worry about that decision. I'm going to make this private and then click next. The next button that pops up is adding people to my team. So you have a few options. As a team creator, you can either add everyone individually by their email address, which I don't recommend. You can add them as a group if you already have a group in your email, or give them a code. If you are a classroom teacher, I recommend giving them the code. Please do that. It saves you a little bit of time and sanity. However, if you're a school leader and you don't have that many teachers on your school staff, and you already have a group created in your email box, or you want to just type in their email addresses, feel free. So maybe I want to just type in their email addresses. I will start typing in that person's name or their email address, and I can type in more than one person at a time, which is awesome. Once I click add, I get an extra option. I can either make that person a member or an owner. Members only have access to the things that you give them. However, owners have the same exact access as you. So they're co-owners, basically. We have a few guests. Let me add the guests to the team, if you don't mind. Okay, there we go. Sorry. All right, I added the guests. So once again, they default to member. However, maybe I would like to make Dr. Rutledge an owner. She will now have the exact same rights that I do. So she can remove folks, she can add members, she can create a join code, she can add files, initiate video calls, etc. My members can only interact with the things that I give them. So just be mindful of that. You can switch back and forth. So maybe initially I only want to make her a member, but maybe next week I want to add her to my leadership team and give her ownership options. I'm going to show you guys how to access the member list and switch everyone's role in the team. But for right now, I'm going to just make them members and then hit close. And I now have my 2 new members in my team. So the awesome thing is, you guys see how I have a little video call box right here. If I have a video call currently going on, I can still see what's going on in my video call and then continue posting and interacting in my group, which is awesome. So the group, the team tells you what you've done. It kind of keeps like a log of all the things you've done. So it says right here that I created the team and I added some members to my team. It even has that I added Dr. Rutledge as an owner, but then I swapped her back to a member. So it kind of logs everything for you in case you forgot what you did. Let's talk about this whole entire view right here. So I chose a staff type. I'm going to show the class type in a couple of minutes, but I chose the staff type. So staff and PLC are pretty similar. So when you first log into your team, after you've created it, it looks just like this. And I typically compare this page to a Facebook page. So you know, when you first log into Facebook, if you're a Facebook user, you see your posts, your friends' posts, what they share, etc. Same thing is here. The more things I post, so if I type a welcome message, it will pop up there. If if I decide to attach something to my document, it says it's waiting for my files. I'm gonna type something else. So the more things I post to my page is gonna continue feeding it further and further and adding things to my homepage. Now, this homepage is for everyone in your team to view. But maybe you want to have a specific channel within your team for only your leadership team, or for only your 5th grade teachers or your 3rd grade teachers. You can create sub channels or sub teams within your bigger team. So think about it like this. Your main team is your umbrella. But within that umbrella, you can have sub channels, so mini groups basically within your main team. And this allows you to kind of pass out and disseminate information to different groups of people. If you're a classroom teacher, the same thing applies. Maybe you would like to have a specific academic group in this channel and maybe another channel with a different group of kids. You have that ability to do that as well. So let's talk about that. How can I create additional channels? So like I said, this is your main general channel, and maybe I would like to add 2 additional channels. To add 2 additional channels, next to my team name right here, there are 3 dots. If you click that, it allows you to open up additional settings or options. And you'll see towards the very top, I have the option to click Add Channel. When I click Add Channel, it's going to ask me to name my channel. I'm going to just name this channel Leadership Team. I can describe it if I would like, but this next part is pretty important as well. So with channels, even if you're a classroom teacher, you have the ability to set the privacy settings for that. So with channels, you have 2 options. Either it could be private to where only the people that you add to your channel can view that channel, or it can be standard to where everyone in the channel can see all of your other sub channels that you have. So if you're a classroom teacher, I recommend making your channels private, because maybe you have different channels based off of academic grouping, and you don't want to have the kids know that this group are the other kids, and this group it contains my other kids. You want to keep that kind of private. I would choose private if you want to kind of keep that anonymous across all of your team members. If you're a school leader, standard is fine. However, if you want specific people in your channel, because maybe you have your leadership team and you want specific people in that actual leadership team to have access to the items, you may want to make it private. So there are 2 options right there for you guys. If I click private and then click next, I now have the option to start adding people to my channel. So I can start typing in my members. Now I have to currently have these people in my actual channel. I cannot just pull someone from the air and add them to my channel. They must already be a member in my current channel. So I'm going to add Dr. Relish to my channel. When I click add, if she logs in right now, she will now be able to see that specific channel. Once again, the same options. I can make her a member or an owner. So you have that option right there. And then when I hit done, she will now be able to see that leadership team channel. So you can see over here, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. I have my general channel, which is my main homepage where everyone can see the items and the files on there. But then I have my leadership team with a little lock next to it. That means it's private and only the people that I add to that specific channel will have access to it. I'm gonna pause for a second. Anyone have any questions?
Yeah, Ms. Haney, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Mr. Gordon. Quick question. When you are scheduling via the calendar, a meeting, if the channel that you created is private and it's the exact scenario that you just created, if it's, for example, the leadership team,
yes,
the calendar, exactly. Do you see where it says add channel? Does that populate if it's private?
Let's try it out. I want to say it will not populate. Yeah, it won't if it's private. So yeah, that is the one downfall. However, if you do have sensitive information in that channel, you're gonna want to still make it private. But let's say my leadership team only has 3 people. It would take 2 seconds to add those people to my channel, to my to my calendar invitation. Now you'll notice if I hit add channel, it will pop up all of my items right here. So let me go to my demo staff one. So yeah, so you see how it's only showing me my general one. So it only gives you access to the general one specifically, and then your public ones, your standard ones.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I know that would be awesome if I can just send it straight to my leadership team or to that private channel, but no, only to the general one specifically. But of course, you could type in those required attendees individually.
Okay, thanks.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions right now before we move on? All right, let's go ahead and continue on. So
I had one question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
When I'm trying to populate my class with my students' names and the EBR accounts, I'm not finding theirs. I'm only finding staff, teachers.
Yes, ma'am. So currently the students are not available for you to search their names. You'll have to give them the excuse me. You have to give them the code. Are you middle school, high school, or elementary school?
Middle school.
How do you guys currently communicate with your students? Remines, I'm assuming.
Google Classroom.
Okay, so yeah, so if you can, I recommend taking that code, and I'm getting ready to show you how to access the code, and sticking it into your Google Classroom with the link. And it's also, I want to say it's in Clever now as well, and then telling them how to access it, and then they can just join it themselves as if they did an actual Google Classroom.
All right, thank you.
No problem. So, good lead up to my next part, the codes. So earlier I said that you can add members to your team via typing in their email addresses or give them the code. So let's talk about how to even access the code. So if you are a Google Classroom user and pro, typically when you log into Google Classroom, your code is smack dab in the middle of your screen. You see it right there. However, in Microsoft Teams, you have to stop and go an extra few steps. So let's go ahead and go through those extra few steps. So next to your name of your class, or your team, I should say, those three dots, once again, click that. The very first option where it says Manage Team, you're going to click Manage Team. And you have a few tabs to select from. I want to go to the Settings tab. When I click Settings, towards the middle of my screen, you'll find the area that says Team Code. When I click that, I now have the option to generate my code. So the code is not generated automatically. You have to actually enable and turn on the code. Click Generate, and you now have your code ready to go. So I can copy this code. I can disable it if I don't need it anymore. I can change it if it looks a little too weird. If it has like too many letter and number combinations, I can reset it as well. So that's how you access and turn on your team code. We have a question. So someone asked, if you know the student's ID used to access the computer at school. Oh, look at that. So we have a recommendation. So I know someone just asked about, I can't find my students via the search. Someone said that if you know their ID numbers, type that in and find them via that. So for example, my name is Sahara Haney. Maybe my ID number is SH12345 at ebrschools.org. I can type that in and it should pop up. I hope that helps. Thank you so much for that recommendation. Okay, so going back to our code. So that is how you can access your team code. You can copy it, share it, either send it through Remind 101, Class Dojo, or Google Classroom. Okay, so let's go back to our managed team. So along with settings, you guys will see that I have some extra options right here. I can add a team picture. So I'm an elementary school teacher by heart. I taught middle school as well, but I love cute things. So maybe this DE picture is bothering the heck out of me and I want to change the picture. I can change the picture. They have some little cute ones, but I may want to upload my own. So I'm going to just choose a little book because I taught ELA. So now I have a little book as my image. So it's super cute. They have cute little images to add to your team, just to kind of jazz up your team for a little color added to your team. Hopefully let's let me get off of the screen. It's not letting me get off the screen. Am I zoomed in too much? Let's see. I might be zoomed in too much to where I can't. There we go. Click update. There we go. All right. So once it saves, we'll go back to all of the settings. So you can change your avatar or your team's profile picture. You can also view your members. And remember I said earlier, you guys can change the member status or the members' rights after you add them. It's taking a while to save the changes. Man, I'm going to show you guys how to do that. Let's refresh my page to speed this process. Okay, I'm back. I have no idea what just happened, but I'm going to reshare my screen. So let me add this back. All right, there we go. It's coming now. Okay, so I apologize. I have no idea what just happened. So going back to my main team, let's go back to my settings. So remember to get to your settings, hit your three dots, and go to manage team. In your settings, I mentioned you can change your team picture. I can enable or turn off channel creations. I can kind of set my guest permissions, and there's some other cute stuff down here that you can add and play with. We're going to ignore those things right now. Let's go to members, the first tab that you have under your manage team settings. So earlier I said that you can kind of change and alter your members' status within the group or within the team. So earlier I made Mrs. Kuiper and Dr. Rowledge both members. Maybe I would like to switch them to owners or switch one of them to owners. Simply go to where the drop down is, select it, and then switch it to owner. So I can toggle back and forth over and over and over again, and you'll see anyone who's an owner is automatically shifted to the very top. So they now have the same rights as you. Maybe I would like to remove someone from my team. To remove that person, hover over their name and a little X pops up. Select it, and they are now out of your team. So you can manually remove people from your team as well. You can also add additional members here. So right here, the little purplish button, click that, type in the person's name. You can now add additional members to your team. Well, same steps. I can change their member status to either owner or member, and then they will now have access to my team. So your member area is where you can delete members, add additional members, or change member status within your team. Now, the pending request button, it really doesn't work. I'm not gonna say it works. Let me not say that. It may not come into play unless you have it locked down completely. If you give the join codes, they may populate right here. You may have to just go ahead and accept everyone. But nothing will live here normally. It will just be a little cute picture until you have actual pending requests. I'm going to get out of my settings and go back to my main page, my general page. So remember earlier I said your home page, your home landing page for your team is where all of your posts, your conversations with the entire team lives. But remember, those channels is where you can have kind of sub teams within your main team. Go back up to general. And down here is where I can start my new conversations. I can add cute little GIFs. I can add stickers, emojis. I can also add attachments. So let me add an attachment. That should be ready to go now. Yes. So I'm going to click upload from my computer and find a little quick PDF to upload. Okay, I'm going to upload this question set because maybe I want them to review this question set. So I'm going to say review this question set. I'm going to post it. So this is a file that I'm now attaching to my team. So once this file is ready to go, this file will be set and it will store underneath this other tab up here that says files. When I click that file that I just uploaded to my team, ooh, I zoomed in too much, it's going to live there. So any files that you upload from your general page will live underneath your files tab. So without having to scroll up and down and find that attachment, it's going to all just live under files. So just simply go to files and then you can locate that item right there. You can also download items. So maybe I want to download this to my computer. Simply click on it and then download it. or copy the sharing link, or open it up if you would like to. So that's where all of your files live after you post it. Now, I've gotten a question about, can I post quick surveys to my team from here without having to have them go to Google Forms or have them go to Mentimeter to do other things outside of Teams? So the cool thing with this is at the very bottom where you post your conversations, there are 3 dots. Zoom in a little bit more right here. If I click those 3 dots, I get the option to add apps. And Microsoft actually has their version of Forms. And with this, I can embed a quick little question, a quick form to my actual general feed. So I'm going to click Forms. Let me zoom back out. There we go. And this little box pops up. So I'm going to ask a question. What is your favorite color? Yellow, red. I'm going to add one more, purple. I can toggle on multiple answers, or I can just have them choose one and then click next. It's going to show you how it will look before you're ready to go. I like it. It looks awesome. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. And then once it's ready to go, it's going to pop up on my screen in a second. There we go. So now my members can now view this form or this poll that I just created, select the answer, and in real time, when it hits submit, it will show a percentage of what they selected. So the more people that vote, it will continue selecting and populating right there for me. Okay, so they can only vote one time. You saw that when I did yellow and I changed it to purple, it changed my vote as well. But this is awesome just to kind of do a quick temperature check, ask simple questions, poll them really quickly. It's right there for you guys, all in your apps down here. Now, maybe one of my members did an amazing job and I want to give them praise. The little ribbon button next to your 3 dots allows me to give praise to someone in my team. So maybe I want to give Awesome, the little unicorn, so cute, to Mrs. Kuiper. Want to say great job. Hit preview to see how it looks. Looks like that, super cute, the little unicorn. Hit send, and the little praise ribbon will pop up on my feed. You'll also notice that people can like or heart or laugh or wow or sad or mad your posts. So similar to Facebook, if you have Facebook and you use it, if you hover over the like button, you get extra options. Similar to that, they can like or heart your posts. One more important thing before we move on to the calendar is your Meet Now button. So down here is where your Meet Now button is. Perhaps you would like to engage in a video call right now. If I click that button, let's zoom back out, zoomed in too much. If I click that button, I can now begin a quick meeting for everyone. And then we can meet now. So whoever is currently in my team, we can go ahead and meet now and discuss whatever the problem is or discuss and collaborate. I can also schedule a meeting. So maybe I don't want it to happen right now. I want to just schedule it for Monday. If I click schedule a meeting, it takes me straight to my calendar to schedule my meeting. And I can set the date, the time, add additional details, the location, etc. I'm going to close that out and close that out. Okay, so any questions about your general wall? So just to let you guys know, remember, this is your general wall, but your leadership team and all of your additional channels have their own wall. So when I go to my leadership team channel, that wall is completely blank because I have not posted anything there. When I hit welcome, it pops up. So anything I post there will go to that specific channel. Their files. It's just taking 1,000 years. There we go. Come on. So that specific channel also has the files access to, and they have their own separate files. So this is awesome because once again, maybe you want your leadership team to have specific private information that only they can see, maybe a rubric, a compass evaluation tool, etc. You can have that here underneath that specific channel files. Okay. Any questions before we continue on? Let me go to the chat to make sure no one's asking questions.
If I could blurt it out, we have a question about polls in Teams, and I'm thinking that one way that you could access all of the details about your polls when you post a poll in Microsoft Teams would be to go to Microsoft Office and then open forms, and then you could see detailed information about your poll.
So that Forms app is on your little home dashboard for Office 365 as well. So when you click on it, once it loads, I can create something from scratch here, and you'll see that I have my question right there. So when I click on it, so I won't get an email notification. No, I'll have to go to either my team to see what they selected, or go to my Forms app in Microsoft.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking as well.
And you'll notice that it's similar to Google Forms. So it's not a learning curve at all. It's fairly similar to Google Forms. So you know how to use that, you can use this. Good question, Mrs. Drake. Any other questions before we continue on and finish up? All right. So let's talk about the last few buttons that we have. The next button is my favorite because I love chat. I'm a millennial and I grew up with AOL and Yahoo Messenger and all of those things. So I love chatting and texting and all of that. So at the very top, there's a little private messenger button next to my search box. If I click that little chat feature, I can now chat with someone in my group or someone else in my organization. So maybe I would like to chat with Mrs. Piper. I'm going to type in her email address or her last name, and I can now send a message to her. And it also saves my other messages that we sent between each other. So they can either be a member in my team or they can be just a member of the organization, and I can chat with them privately. I can do a group chat. So maybe I want to send something to her and Dr. Rutledge. I can now do a group chat. I can also initiate a video call between only us three. So maybe I would like to have a quick video call to discuss something for the department. We can go ahead and initiate a video call and click that button right there in your right-hand corner. If I click that, it will initiate a video call. I'm going to hang up so I'm not bothering anybody. Okay, so going back. So that is how you initiate a private message or a private video call or phone call, because you can also do the phone feature right here. Don't prefer it, but that button is there in case you're wondering what that button is. We can also share files between just our little group. So I have the little files button there as well. So if I would like to share a file to Dr. Rutledge and Mrs. Kuiper, I can just share that file and it will live right there under the files button. Okay, going back to my team. Under Teams, you have assignments. Now this button, remember, is only accessible. It's accessible for everyone. It's going to be there. However, it's going to give you a warning message stating that you don't have, that this is not a class. And so because I have a class already, I can go and switch to that team and add something to that specific class team that I have. But this is not a class team type that I chose for this specific team. So I'm not going to go through this part, but I can. And I'm going to just quickly talk about what is available in your demo class or in your class type of team that you have. So you have the option to assign work, quizzes, assignments. You can grade it. So I had a little practice one from yesterday that I played with yesterday. So it's fairly similar to Google Classroom. It's a lot more streamlined. There's not that many choices to select from, which I kind of actually appreciate because I cannot make a decision for the life of me sometimes. So I like very kind of abbreviated choices. So you have very, very short and sweet choices that you can select from in your class. We do have the class, the teacher specific training coming up later on today. I think it's at 11 o'clock and we have it again at 2, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are a classroom teacher, I recommend coming to that specific training. Okay. Last button that we're going to talk about before we stop and finish up is our calendar button. This calendar button is awesome because it integrates your current calendar with what you have in your team. So as you can see, I have 1,001 things on my calendar because that is my personal calendar. But then I can also add new meetings to my calendar if I would like to for my team. So if I add demo meeting, go to my channel, and I would like to add my demo staff that I created to this. Add something. I'm going to say, see you guys soon. And I can add additional attendance if I would like to. The time and the date, I can have it repeat. It's the same setup as your actual Outlook 365 calendar. Once I hit sends, those participants will receive that calendar invitation, and it will be added to my calendar over here. You guys can see it. It's right there. It's just taking a second to save, but it'll join. I'll have that option right there on my calendar. So it will live on this team calendar. And then if I go to my real calendar in Outlook, once it's done saving, it will pop up right there. So there you go. You see how it is? It's right here. So it's going to live in your Office 365 calendar across multiple platforms. So you're not just tied down to having to go to Teams. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Teams homepage. Those are the most important features that we wanted to talk about. There are a lot of extra features. There are a variety of features, apps, buttons to click, everything. But those are the main important ones. I'm going to stop. I'm going to kind of wind down. And do you guys have any questions at all before we wrap up today's training? While y'all are thinking of questions, remember that all of the stuff that I covered today in this live kind of demo can be found in this presentation. So remember, the website is tinyurl.com/MS-Teams with an S EBR. So please feel free to use that. It will live at that website address forever. It will never change. So if you can take a picture of it, a screenshot, whatever you need is there. And then on slide 2, we also have the link to the document with all of the trainings that we're providing over the next week or so, the times and the links. If you guys don't have any questions, thank you guys so very much for tuning in today. And I hope that you guys learned at least one thing. I appreciate all of y'all. Y'all need any support, my contact information and Mrs. Kuiper's stuff is on there as well. So feel free to reach out if y'all have any questions. I recorded this meeting today, so it will be made available on our YouTube channel. And we will send out the links to everyone in the district so y'all can have access to it at a later date. But if that is it, thank you guys so much for attending today.